We are now completing week 4 of generous giving, and I have been blessed in all of these 20 services. This has been an absolute blessing to me to be able to share this with you because it encourages me and it takes me back to things that I know and things that I've learned, and it refreshes me to be able to bring it to you and tell stories that happened in my life, true stories. I can tell you what happened in other people's lives as well, but I like telling you what God done for me, not because I'm bragging, because, folks, I've missed God. I mean, I've asked God what do you want me to do? And he'd tell me, and I go, man, I'd gulp on that one. And then sometimes he's tried to stop me from investing in things that were scams, and I'd invest anyway, and I'd lose money. And it was just, I've not gotten it all right by no stretch of the imagination. And what I tell you, I've gotten it all right. I've been hustled too many times by preachers, by people in the church, out of the church, people on the street. I've been hustled a lot in my life. I guess I need to wise up. But God's been good to me. He's really been good to me. And he knows, and if he really and truly does know that I'm trying, and I keep coming back to him, I apologize for my stupid mistakes. He was trying to stop me from investing in an oil well one time, and I did. And the man was receiving my $5,000, and my wife, I felt like she was going to shoot me if she didn't have a weapon. But she was angry with me because I was doing it, and I saw the sparkle go off in his eyes. There used to be a little cartoon, and it had a character in it called Ricky Tikki Tavi, and it had a sparkle in their eyes, and that snake had that sparkle would come up in their eyes. And I saw that sparkle in that man's eyes whenever I was writing out the check, and he was talking smooth words, and I'm writing out a $5,000 check, and my wife is burning up with anger because she knows it's a hustle, and I am wanting to get ahead so badly. I'm needing to come up out of the hole that I'm willing to invest and had convinced myself this was of God. It wasn't of God. I lost money. All I got was a hole, not even a good hole. I never saw the hole. The only hole I felt was $5,000 gone out of my savings account. So that was a deal. So I made no money out of that. I didn't make any money. The man made money. He got wealthy and wealthier because he hustled a lot of us. And so he made some money. And, it was his gig and he did it. But I've been hustled by Christians too. I haven't been hustled just by oil barons. I've been hustled by people in the church. And so I've been hustled both ways. But I was wrong in that investment. My wife was right. I was wrong. Then there have been times that I should have given and did not, and I missed it on that side. So I'm not here telling you that I got my act all together. I'm just telling you the Bible principle works. And when you hear what God tells you to do and you do what God tells you to do, it'll work for you. It's worked for me. It's worked for millions and multiple millions of people throughout history, and it's going to continue to work as long as the earth remains. There will be seed time and harvest time. I would imagine even after Jesus comes back and the New Jerusalem comes to the earth, there's going to be grain on the earth, as far as I know, seed time and harvest, because the earth's still going to be here. It's going to be renewed, but it's still going to be here. So yesterday we were talking about the lady that gave the 2 mites, and Jesus said she had given more than all the wealthy people. She had given a day's wages, and they had given out of their wealth and their savings accounts and out of their investments, but she gave out all she had. She gave away everything she had. And he said they put in out of their abundance, but she came and put out of her poverty, put in all that she had, her whole livelihood. So that didn't make it sound like, well, she gave generously. She might have given 20 or 30%. No, she gave it all. She gave 100%. 100%. It is an absolute deal. So Jesus wanted to make sure that lady was remembered. Glory to God. And in other scriptures covering this same story, they do talk about that. And when Jesus saw that, he was just absolutely blessed because he saw that person putting their trust in him. And that's what God's looking for, is us putting our trust in him. Well, how do we come to trust God? He actually is the one that causes that to happen. Jesus does. He wants that to happen to us. And if you looked at that up in the Luke 21, I think it looks about the same. Certain poor widow, I say to you, the poor widow has put in more than all out of their abundance. They put in offerings for God, and out of her poverty, she put in all the livelihood that she had. Wow, man. So that's a real blessing when you look upon that and you go, my God, God is such a good God. And he looks upon us and he says, I want to help and I want to bless and I want to be a blessing. And God's wanting us to be blessed. So let's think about it today. wherever you are in your life, think about what you would like to see improved. I know you're thinking, and most of us do, I'd like to have enough money to buy a new suit. I'd like to have enough money to buy enough groceries. I'd like to have enough money to pay my rent. I'd like to have enough money to pay my utilities. I'd like to have enough money to buy a vehicle. I'd like to have enough money to buy gasoline for my vehicle. I'd like to have enough money to buy the insurance for whatever else I own. So see you go. I'd like to have enough money to buy my children's school lunches. It goes on and on and on. I'd like to go to the county fair. I'd like to have enough money to go fishing. Come on. There's just all kinds of things out there that we want money for ourselves. Now let's stop right now and calculate what God said in Mark 14 and Luke 24. What did he say? He said that lady gave out of all, she gave all she had. She didn't give out it. She gave out of her poverty, but she gave everything she had. And he was bragging on that lady. He was bragging on her. Well, you know, according to what we've been teaching, if you sow, you're going to reap. Now, the Bible doesn't say how much she ended up with, so I really don't know how much she ended up with. But we know that God's true to his word. If she gave all she had, she gave generously, and there's going to be money coming back to her. I guarantee you that. Next week, we may get into more of the prophets in the Old Testament and how they dealt with people that were rich and poor. But today, I'd like to finish out this week talking about Elijah and the widow at Zarephath. Now, we all have shared this story many times, and sometimes people stretch more than that is in the story. But it says that the word of the Lord came saying, arise and go to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and dwell there. See, I have commanded a widow there to provide for you. Now, when people read that, they don't like that God commanded a widow to take care of a prophet. Now, people have used this to hustle women, and I'm sorry, women, that you've been hustled. I've seen them hustle men and women, and I've had men come to me and try to curse me because they wanted me to do whatever they told me to do. Well, I'm a prophet so-and-so, and I said, I'm going to prophesy to you. If you don't get out of here, you and I are going to have a squabble going on here in a hurry. But I've helped people that just demanded and were just arrogant and just jerks, and just to get rid of them, to be honest with you. Then I've helped people that never asked for a thing, but you could see they had a need, and you wanted to make sure they had that need met. But he said that he told this prophet Elijah, who had spoken to Ahab, and all of the famine had begun, and it was because he had spoken that word. And he went there to see this widow. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're doing without and your food supplies run out, and God's sending you to a region that's just as poverty-stricken as yours and sending you to a widow, that at first doesn't seem like that's going to be a very good deal. I mean, God, how's this going to work? So he went over there and he found her, and she was gathering some sticks. I'm just going to kind of run through the story today. May come back and teach on next week. And he said, bring me a little water that in a cup that I may drink. And she was going to get it. Now, can you imagine? She didn't even fight him over a cup of water in a famine and a drought. It's a drought, folks. The famine is caused by the drought. No water. But she didn't even argue about getting him the water. That was not on her mind. But what did he say to her? Listen to this. As she was going to get it, she's being a doer. He called to her and he said, please bring me a morsel of bread in your hand. Oh, my God. He couldn't have slapped her in the face, called her bad names, and threatened her family. So she said, as the Lord your God lives, your God, as the Lord your God lives, I do not have bread. Only a handful of flour in a bin and a little oil in a jar. And see, I'm gathering a couple of sticks that I may go and prepare for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die. She had no hope. Elijah said to her, and I can almost see him saying in a very kind voice, not a hustle, not that smooze your voice, not that hug you up baby, you're so beautiful voice. But he said, ma'am, do not be afraid. He said, go and do as you said, but make me a small cake from it first and bring it to me. He didn't say, go cook all you have and bring all you have to me. He said, out of this little bit you say you have, that you can cook with a couple of sticks. Now, folks, that's not much. Do not fear, but go and make me a small cake from it first and bring it to me. He didn't say go cook all of it. He said, bring me a small portion of what you have. And afterwards, make some for yourself and your son. And he gave her a promise. For thus says the Lord God of Israel, the bin of flour," referring to her bin of flour, "shall not be used up, nor shall the jar of oil run dry until the day the Lord sends rain on the earth." Whoa. Now, man, I don't want to go any further in that today, but I want you to see what a blessing that was, that he had prophesied to her. Now, she is caught between the two worlds, so to speak. Is she going to hear and obey what the prophet said? Can she trust what the prophet said? He said, did not tell her to go give him all she had. He said, you go make a small cake out of what you have and bring that to me. Then you go back and make some for yourself. So you can see from the writing, from the grammar, that she didn't take it all and make it all for him. She took some of it and made some for him and brought it to him, because he told her, you go back and make some for yourself. Then he said, your flour bin and your oil jar will never be without. You'll have plenty of flour. You'll have plenty of oil. Now, she obeyed, and we'll get into this next week. She obeyed, and she did what he told her to do. And guess what? She and her son and the prophet and her whole household ate many days. We'll go through this more next week. But I want you to see this. There was a need in both people's lives, a need for the prophet, a need for the widow. And God said, if I can get them to work together and get them both to have faith in me, I'll bless the both of them. So Elijah had to exercise his faith to even go there to Zarephath, because that was the heart of Ahab's wife's background. The Baal worship was in that region. So God was sending his man over to set up a stronghold in Baal worship territory to bring forth the gospel message. And he was going to establish it through a woman that was already poor and widowed. And if anybody was going to get blessed, it might as well be her, because now people could say that had to be God. She didn't have any money. She didn't own any land. She didn't have any grain. She had nothing. So I'll get into that a little bit more next week. But God said, okay, Elijah, if you can believe what I'm telling you to do, if you can trust me, you go do what I tell you to do. And if that lady trusts me and she does what I tell her to do, you'll both get blessed out of the deal. And they did. It was a phenomenal deal. He didn't hustle the lady. He just went to the lady that he was directed to go to, not just any widow, but that widow. And God blessed the both of them. You'll be blessed when you're giving as well. I pray the whole region gets blessed, that we get so prosperous that we can spend money on the gospel, and we can get the gospel going 24/7 in so many avenues the devil will just scream and run away. Father, I ask you to bless all of those that send generous offerings to Life Radio, P.O. Box 1313, Poplar Bluff, Missouri 63902. Bless them and bless them abundantly. May they see it coming in and then get excited and say, I'm sending more out. Amen.